Once upon a time, in the vast and shimmering ocean where sunlight danced across rolling waves and painted the water in shades of turquoise and deep blue, there lived a young dolphin named Danny. Danny was not just any dolphin. From the moment he was born, it was clear that curiosity flowed through him as naturally as the ocean currents. While other young dolphins stayed close to their families and played familiar games near their coral homes, Danny was always looking toward the horizon, wondering what lay beyond what he could see. Danny lived with his pod in a warm, peaceful part of the ocean where coral reefs bloomed like underwater gardens. Brightly colored fish darted between coral branches, sea turtles drifted lazily through the water, and gentle sea grasses swayed back and forth with the rhythm of the tides. It was a beautiful place, and Danny loved his home, but his heart always yearned for adventure. Every morning, Danny would wake up early and race the rising sun. He loved how the ocean looked at dawn, when golden rays slipped through the surface and turned the water into sparkling ribbons of light. He would leap into the air, twisting and splashing back down with laughter that echoed beneath the waves. His mother would smile fondly and remind him not to wander too far, while his friends would call out, inviting him to join their games. But Danny's mind was often somewhere else. He loved listening to the stories told by older sea creatures, tales of faraway places, hidden caves, and mysterious wonders buried deep beneath the ocean floor. Among all the storytellers, Danny's favorite was Tessa, the wise old sea turtle. Tessa had lived for many, many years and had traveled farther than most creatures could imagine. Her shell was marked with gentle scratches and patterns that told stories of time and travel, and her eyes sparkled with knowledge and kindness. Whenever Tessa visited the reef, young sea creatures would gather around her, eager to hear her tales. Danny always swam closest. One day, Tessa would say slowly, her voice calm and soothing, "You may discover that the ocean is full of secrets waiting for those brave enough to explore." Danny's heart would beat faster every time he heard words like that. One particularly sunny morning, when the water was calm and clear, Danny felt an unusual pull in his heart. It was as if the ocean itself was calling to him. His friends were busy chasing fish, and his family was resting near the reef. Danny paused for a moment, then made a decision. "I'll just explore a little farther today," he whispered to himself. He swam past the familiar coral gardens, beyond the places he usually visited. The water grew deeper and darker, and the sunlight softened into gentle beams that reached down like glowing fingers. Strange fish with shimmering scales and curious eyes swam past him, some friendly, some cautious, all unfamiliar. Danny felt a thrill of excitement mixed with a tiny flutter of nervousness. But curiosity pushed him onward. As he swam lower, the ocean floor slowly came into view. It was quieter here, and the sand stretched out like a vast desert beneath the sea. That was when Danny noticed something unusual, a faint glimmer reflecting the light. He slowed down, his heart racing, and gently descended toward the seabed. Half buried in the sand was an object unlike anything he had ever seen. It was small but beautiful, covered in delicate patterns and shimmering faintly as if it held a secret of its own. Danny carefully nudged the sand aside with his nose and gasped. It was a key. An old-fashioned key, made of metal that glowed softly in the underwater light. Danny picked it up gently with his mouth and turned it, examining it from every angle. Questions filled his mind. What did this key open? How had it ended up here? Just then, a familiar shape glided into view. The entrance was narrow and hidden behind layers of seaweed. Floating near it was an octopus with gentle eyes and soft purple skin. "Ollie," Tessa called out kindly. "We've come to find the treasure chest." Ollie smiled and waved a tentacle in greeting. "You may enter," he said. "But remember, true treasure reveals itself only to those with pure intentions." Danny swallowed and nodded. Inside the cave, the world seemed to glow. The walls shimmered with crystals and shells, and glowing sea anemones lit the path ahead with soft, magical light. The cave felt ancient, as if it had been waiting for them for a very long time. At the far end of the cave, partially buried in the sand, rested a large, ancient chest. Danny's heart pounded as he swam closer. He gently placed the key into the lock and turned it. Click. The chest opened slowly, releasing a glow that filled the cave. Inside were pearls, gems, and golden coins that sparkled brilliantly. Danny gasped, but something else caught his eye. At the very bottom lay a rolled-up map. Tessa leaned closer. "That," she whispered, "is the greatest treasure of all." The map revealed the locations of hidden wonders throughout the ocean, places of beauty, mystery, and learning. From that day on, Danny's life changed forever. He traveled the ocean, discovering underwater volcanoes that glowed like fire beneath the sea, sunken ships filled with history, and a coral castle that shimmered like a dream. Along the way, he made new friends, helped those in need, and learned to respect the ocean's balance. Every time Danny returned home, he shared his stories with Tessa, Ollie, and his friends, inspiring them to explore and learn. Danny discovered that true treasure was not gold or gems, but curiosity, kindness, and friendship. And so, Danny the Dolphin continued his adventures, always exploring, always learning, and always listening to the whispers of the ocean. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe our channel. It was Tessa. "Hello, Danny," Tessa said warmly, her voice carrying calm through the water. "You seem far from home today." Danny swam over eagerly, his eyes bright with excitement. He showed her the key, careful not to drop it. "Look what I found," he said. "Do you know what it is?" Tessa's eyes widened as she examined the key closely. She circled Danny slowly, studying the markings carved into the metal. A look of wonder crossed her face. "This," she said softly, "is a very special key." Danny's heart skipped a beat. Long ago, Tessa continued, there was a legend passed down through generations of sea creatures. It spoke of a treasure chest hidden in a secret underwater cave, far from the reefs and guarded by the ocean itself. This key was said to unlock it. Danny's eyes sparkled. "A treasure chest?" Tessa nodded. "Yes, but not just any treasure. The kind that changes those who find it." Danny could hardly contain himself. "Can you take me to the cave?" Tessa smiled gently. "If you promise to be careful and respect the ocean, I will." Danny nodded eagerly. Together, they began their journey. Tessa led the way, moving steadily through winding paths of coral reefs. They passed forests of tall coral pillars, fields of waving sea grass, and schools of fish that shimmered like living rainbows. Some creatures stopped to stare, whispering in wonder as Danny and Tessa passed by. As they traveled farther, the water grew darker and cooler. The playful sounds of the reef faded, replaced by deep, echoing currents. Danny felt a shiver run through him, but he stayed close to Tessa, trusting her completely. At last, they reached a shadowy part of the ocean where towering rock formations rose from the seabed like ancient giants. Thick seaweed covered the rocks, swaying slowly like curtains. "There," Tessa said. "That is the cave."